I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes, for the Jew first and also for the Greek. And then he says this in verse 17, which is kind of our key. For in it, in this gospel, the righteousness of God is revealed. So understand that he's talking about this declared righteousness of the believer is now revealed in this gospel. So that declared righteousness is justification. And so this righteousness of God is revealed from faith to faith, as is written, the just shall live by faith. Now, when we started, once we get into verse 18, it talked about the wrath of God is revealed. And from chapter 1:18 all the way to chapter 3, verse 20, we were kind of looking at the universal need for justification. That there was a need for man to be declared righteous. And so within this need to be declared righteous, we recognize that what? Well, man couldn't attain righteousness, but we still needed the righteous, so we had to be declared righteous. And so it's a beautiful thing to recognize that here, as he began to start out, that we recognize that what everyone was under sin. The Jew was under sin, the Gentile was under sin, and because everyone was under sin, and as we looked at, there was no difference between it, and so because all were under sin, what? In order to get right with God, we had to have this righteousness. We needed that. So we started out by thinking that, okay, we understood that there was a universal need for righteousness. After we saw the universal need for righteousness, then what began to develop was this. We then looked at what justification actually was. So there was a universal need for this justification. Then we said, what is justification? And from chapter 3, verse 21, all the way to chapter 4, verse 25, we begin to look at an extended definition of justification. And that justification, as we begin to see it, was this legal act of being declared righteous by God through faith apart from works. So we're declared right, completely perfect before God through faith, but it's not by the works that we've done. What it is this. It isn't through a work of the law. It isn't through a work that's outside of the law. It's faith, but it's faith based upon the person, the life, the ministry, the death, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's it.